Hey everyone, it's Steve from Clover FPV Systems and welcome to this video. It's an instructional on building our newest line of frames, the Guinea. The Guinea comes in a 2.5-inch True X and a 3.5-inch Squish X. Both are unibody, cut from high-quality 3K matte twill carbon fiber sheets at 3.5mm thickness. And I am very happy to say that it brings the Clover FPV system into the sub-250 category, which I never thought was possible. Because it's a unibody, this is going to be a really easy, quick build, but there are a few hardware and 3D print choices to consider. The build process is the same on the Guinea 2.5 and the Guinea 3.5, so you can use this video to build either. I'm going to build on the 3.5. Let's get started. And here we are. First things first, I'm going to show you the base build. It's simple as heck. Take a look at the hardware set. You're going to receive a set of 4 10mm standoffs, 8 6mm M3 screws, 9 8mm screws, 8 M2 hex nuts, 4 10mm M2 screws, and 4 12mm M2 screws. The different lengths of screws are for changes in the configuration and thickness of the 3D prints you use. First things first, we have to find your bottom. Look at the mounting holes at the center of the body and locate the side with the hardware insets. That is the bottom of your frame. Then take your 10mm M2 screws and insert them so that the hardware goes through the hole and the head of the screw is seated in the inset. I use my thumb to hold the screw in place and get the threading started with your M2 hex nut on the other side. And we're going to do that for all 4. God. They ask you, what's the worst that could happen? All right, now that those are nice and tight, just take the remaining 4 M2 hexes and hold them where you can find them on the screws that they're supposed to go on. Next, we're going to install our standoffs, and I'm going to show you the configuration that you would use if you're going to use the Guinea's built-in strap slots, or if you're going to top mount your battery on your Clover Cage. I highly suggest using Loctite on this step to keep these screws locked into these itty-bitty standoffs. Locate your 4 10mm standoffs and 4 6mm M3. I'm not going to do it on camera, but get your Loctite on them and screw all the standoffs in place. To make sure to not over tighten these because there's not much threading to work with here. You're going to want to use the pliers to hold on to the standoff while you tighten it down. You don't want these guys to start spinning because it makes it hard to effectively mount your Clover Cage. If you're going to use the 3D printed bottom mounted battery plate, then you're going to want to use the slightly longer 8mm screws. And you're pretty much done. Just throw on your 3D printed shoes, your capacitor and RX holder, RX antenna holder, your rear antenna mount, and get ready to bash or cruise. And in the case of the Guinea 2.5, you can even go cinematic. To mount your Clover Cage, use either the remaining 4 6mm M3 screws or a set of 4 8mm screws depending on the thickness of the 3D prints that you're using, and line the front and rear mounting holes up over the front and rear standoffs, and your Clover Cage screws down directly into the standoffs. If you don't feel like changing to the short screws every time, you can sort of get away with just using the long hardware from before and screw it down as tight as you can. Now, the Guinea 2.5 True X and the 3.5 Squish X both have props in view, but if you use our new camera extender, you can easily swap that in and use that extra camera cable length to move that lens forward and get everything out of view. It also works to get props out of view for the entire Clover FPV Systems line of drones, including the lucky 5-inch True X and 7-inch Stretch X. The version compatible with the slammed Clover Cage is being prototyped now. And that's it. You're ready to add your electronics. Here's a few build tips, starting with the obvious. The Guinea is compatible only with AIO boards. It's pretty much just the only way to keep it light. Newly included with every Clover Cage, the breakout board is a must for these builds. It's essentially the only way to make it so that there isn't a mess of wire coming out of the back of the quad, just asking to get tangled up in the props. When you're flying a Clover Cage that uses the removable antenna, it's best to equip that rear antenna mount print and then carefully slide the antenna out and insert it into the antenna mount on the quad side with the cables folded into the space between the antenna mount and the drone side mount. The Guinea has a frunk. Place your RX chip onto the grid of holes and your capacitor into the rounded part of the mount, and use a zip tie through the best hole for you and tighten it down as well as you can so it holds the cap in place and your RX chip is sandwiched onto the frame. Remember when you're swapping Clover Cages to be careful when you're screwing your VTX down, and just make sure you're not pinching any cables between the standoffs and the bottom plate of your Clover Cage. That's it for this video. I hope you had a great time building, and I hope you have an even better time flying. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave it in the comments below. While you're at it, just hit a like on this video. The Guinea was tested by my users, and we all gave our feedback to each other in the Discord. If you want to join the discussion and talk to me directly about all of your FPV everything needs, then hop in our Discord. It's my mission to enable everyone with the Clover FPV system to use it to its fullest potential. Join the conversation. The link is in the description below. I'm trying to grow Clover FPV Systems. I want it to be a worldwide endeavor, and to do that, I need your help. Every dollar that I get from my Patreon goes directly back into the company so that I can execute on my craziest dreams, such as building an FPV car racing team, an FPV racetrack facility or attraction, developing STEM packages to get FPV 3D printing and engineering into schools, things like that. Clover FPV Systems was founded on the idea of making FPV accessible and expanding its horizons. And if you'd like to become a patron, you can help make that wish come true and earn yourself exclusive content, early content, and other bonuses. Thanks so much for hearing me out. Steve signing off, reminding you that the cure for bad luck isn't good luck, it's perseverance. So persist and be peaceful. Don't give in to hate. I'll be here for you in the next video.